Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be going through how you can win these exclusive rewards and just good rewards in general over on the event.supercell.com website. I'll put a link in the description anyways, but you guys should know by now there's an esports tournament that happens every month, right? And this weekend we have East Asia and EMEA. So Saturday East Asia, Sunday EMEA, and you can predict over on the website, and the more predictions you get correct, the more points you can gain. And you take a look at this track, there's some good rewards. So a lot of these, if we don't scroll by them too quickly, you can still, so I think it resets after this month, after next weekend. So all of these, I don't know whether they'll return. It's not guaranteed that a lot of these will return, but for example, you know, this week you can win this icon. Last week you could win like the Stranger Things thing. You can see the spray as well, some chaos drops. So if you haven't started, now is the time, because you could definitely earn by 4 monthly finals. You can earn 3,000 points pretty easily with my predictions and by watching on the event website. So let's just go through the predictions then. So I'll show you, like I'll go through a few things, right? My thought process. I think East Asia is normally an easy region to predict, so I won't go too long onto this. Then I've got EMEA after, but basically if you watch on the event Supercell website, you can vote for multiple things. Well, there's like always quizzes that go on that can earn you more points, so you can get more rewards. There's also at the end of every single game there's an MVP vote, which will get you like 75 or 100 points. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that literally is 3 points. So if you just literally watch a couple of these monthly finals, depending on your time zone, I guarantee that you'll at least get like, I reckon you could get close to 3,000 points. You honestly could if you watched all of it through the event website. Anyways, let's start off with this. So Zeta versus KCN. Again, no disrespect to KCN, but I don't think we really need to go into the ins and outs, right? Zeta are looking really good this year. SKC versus Rejects. So Rejects haven't really been looking the hottest. If you go scroll over here, this is the monthly qualifiers that happened last weekend, and we had SK Kalala's 3-0 rival esports. I think Rejects, yeah, they got 3-0 swept by Fennel last weekend, and then Rejects did eventually go through the lower bracket. But yeah, Rejects haven't been looking the hottest. SK Kalalas as well have been like the people have been saying they're the underdog team throughout the year. They're the ones that I've been keeping a close eye on, and they have the highest scrim win rate at the moment. So yeah, they're looking pretty good. Rejects have been putting in the sets. It looks like they've been scrimming a lot more, and you know what, it's not as alarming as before. They're definitely looking better, but I haven't been impressed by Reject this year. So I think in terms of predictions, I'm going to go with an SK Kalalas win. So next up, we've got Crazy Raccoon versus Insomnia. Again, no disrespect to Insomnia, but we're just going to go Crazy Raccoon and cut the waffle. And again, rival esports, so they've been looking okay, but I think Fennel have been looking pretty good themselves. So I'm going to go with Fennel themselves. So take a look at rivals results. I mean, again, they've been scrimming a lot more, but I've been a little bit, well, their win rate isn't completely the best, but I've been more impressed with a Charpe's team. They did get they did reach the final in the first monthly final, so yeah, I think they should win that one. And this one is actually a lot harder than anticipated. So with this game, SK Kalala versus Zeta, you might think, okay, Zeta at the end of the day, I think if you were to go purely based off who's the better team on paper, then you would go with Zeta, right? But I've been impressed, especially after looking at the scrim results from SKC. Look, 64%. They've been looking pretty good. And if you go to this tab right here, again, I'll leave a link to this in the description if you want to go through it. So if you go through and you search SKC, you can see how they've been doing, no pun intended. But they beat out Zeta in a scrim, literally, if you're watching this on the Thursday, yep, literally really good. They also beat Crazy Raccoon in a scrim, they beat Fennel in a scrim, they beat Crazy Raccoon again in a scrim. The only thing I'm worried about is that they've not practiced maybe as much as other teams, but again, they beat out Rival, they beat out Crazy Raccoon over here, 10-2 again. Like, this is crazy. I wish I could get some opinions from the pros over in East Asia, but they've been looking really hot in scrims. So I'm actually going to go with an unpopular opinion here, and I'm going to go SK Kalala. So I don't know why. I just feel like they might cause an upset. Then Crazy Raccoon versus Fennel. Again, I think Crazy Raccoon have been looking really good in their scrim results. So again, quickly go over here. I won't waffle too much about all of his stuff. But Crazy Raccoon, we go over to what they've been doing. They beat out Zeta today. They lost out to Rejects, funny enough, in a scrim, but they destroyed Rival. They seem to be beating Zeta in every single scrim, like 12-6, which is quite convincing. They did lose out to SKC though, like I mentioned earlier. They beat out Zeta again. They beat out Zeta again, like every single time over here again. And I know that's with Mameshi, but they just beat out Zeta every time in scrims, and scrims isn't like everything, but I just think with Crazy Raccoon, you could see in the last monthly final as well, I think their preparation, especially with global bans, will just be a bit better. So yeah, Crazy Raccoon. And then I'm going to go with so I want to go with an upset here, but I think like Crazy Raccoon will win this one. I think SKC might make a shock and get to the grand final, but it might be a step too far. So those are going to be my predictions for East Asia, guys. So if you guys want to go with completely on paper, I would if I were you guys, probably go like something like Zeta instead. But again, it's up to you. I want to go with something a bit spicier, a bit of an upset, than Crazy Raccoon winning it in the end. I mean, Crazy Raccoon winning it isn't an upset, but to be fair, a lot of people predicted Zeta to win last monthly final. I predicted Crazy Raccoon. They ended up winning, so I think I'm going to stick with them this time around, and hopefully they can prove me right. So now let's move on to the EMEA monthly final. So it's not actually live as a prediction just yet, but the predictions will go live tomorrow after East Asia monthly final, so make sure to lock it in. So let's just whiz through this bracket then. So yeah, no disrespect to BGT, you know, mine, he's a tiered E player, he's terrible. But yeah, it's Humble, right? Like if you're doing predictions, you can't really bet against Humble. Humble just look still insane. So yeah, I'm going to stick with Humble here. Upsets can happen, but yeah. Next up, we've got Na'Vi versus SK. So this is the one that I want to focus on. Na'Vi versus SK. I think if you were to look at this at the beginning of the season, you'd think, okay, it's SK. They'll just, you know, run through most teams, right? But I don't know. SK have been a bit suspect as of late, right? I mean, it's very unusual for a team like SK to be faltering so early on. So if you actually go to the finals of last month, you can see over here. Let me scroll it over. No, they didn't even make last monthly final, did they? Yeah, they didn't even make the last monthly final. Completely forgot about that. Oh, no. Was that the first one? First monthly... Yeah, but March? I'm so confused. Okay, wait. Let me go to April. Oh, Feb. I forgot about February. Sorry, I was just... Okay, so yeah, SK lost out to Metasport in the quarterfinals. And Metasport haven't made the last two monthly finals after that result, which is just crazy. And then you go into March, they didn't make the last monthly final, and then you go into this bracket here. Well, no, if you go into the qualifiers, the qualifiers, they actually look pretty good against Humble. To be fair, that's a convincing result. 3-2 against Humble is pretty fair, but they nearly lost out to Mewtwo's team, 6-7s. They nearly lost out to them, and then when they got sent to the lower bracket, I think they did yeah, they did actually win convincingly in the end, actually, to Lenade's team, but they just had a few hiccups in that monthly qualifier. And then if you go into Na'Vi, you know, they had a pretty clean run. To be fair, I was like, okay, Na'Vi have not a free bracket, but they have an easier bracket than other teams in comparison. But they did beat out BGT, and BGT then qualified through the lower bracket, so fair play. And again, Na'Vi beat out Foot Academy, and Foot Academy qualified through the lower bracket. So 2 of the 3 teams that Na'Vi faced off against did qualify, so I guess that kind of boosts their form. But what I'm trying to hint here is that Na'Vi actually look pretty good. Like, they actually look pretty good. I think Enrage is actually one of the best players in the region. He truly is. Like, Jero and Drage, of course, everyone knows they're good players, but Enrage is so goated. But the biggest problem with them is, which I think will favor SK a lot, is that I think Enrage at the moment is doing some exams, so he won't be as free until the second split. So they've not been scrimming as much. Is very evident by the data, right? You see SK 286, Na'Vi 126, and I think a lot of Brawl Stars right now is dependent on draft. So I mean, I think because of SK been grinding like crazy. By the way, if you take a look at their match results, you've got SK, and they've been scrimming like 4 times a day, sometimes even. Look, we've got 1 scrim there, 2, 3, 4 times in one day. That's crazy. Most teams scrim like 3 at maximum. And again, like this day as well, they scrimmed maybe even 5 times, which is just, again, absolutely crazy. So yeah, the scrim results haven't been like exactly anything too great, but they did beat out Humble the other day. But yeah, beat Totem 9-1, but they're grinding. So I think just for that reason, I think I'm gonna have to put SK in the semi-finals. Again, like Na'Vi can win this. So just every single time that I put Na'Vi to win, they just never win. So I'm going to keep with that instead here. So next up, we've got Foot Esports versus Foot Academy. So I don't think I'm going to go into the data too much. I think Foot Esports are just one of the best teams in the region. I don't think there'll be an upset here. Foot Academy are actually really good. Like, their players are pretty strong. But yeah, I think it's just too far from Foot Esports. Foot should win, right? Next up, Team Heretics versus Madrid. So Madrid actually look pretty good as well, but I'm going to go pretty simple here. I've actually been pretty impressed with Team Heretics team play overall. And I think Marco definitely is like the deciding factor. If we go over to okay, yeah, I forgot about that. They did get 10-0 swept by Foot, but it's Foot at the end of the day. Everyone loses to Foot, but they did actually lose out to BGT as well. So, you know what? A few of the scrims recently have been a bit skeptic when you think about it, right? But yeah, to be out Humble, which isn't about, I mean, we've not been losing scrims too bad. To be out Humble again, that's 2 scrims where they beat them out. SK as well. I mean, they're just like, it's a very fierce region, and they've been going neck and neck with a lot of the top teams. You know, they lost to Na'Vi, but then beat out SK quite convincingly, beat out Totem quite convincingly. So yeah, it's Heretics at the end of the day. So I think they should beat out Madrid, but Madrid have been looking pretty good themselves. So now moving on to the semi-finals. So I think, again, this could be closer than people imagine, but it's gonna be boring, right? I'm sorry, guys. If you guys want to do something spicy with your predictions, you can go ahead. But if you just take a look at the previous monthly finals, if we just go over to finals here, and we go over to March monthly finals. Oh, Humble versus Foot Esports, 3-2 fashion. We go over to February. It is 3-1 Foot Esports. They've just made the finals every time. And I do believe right now that there's still, in terms of like their scrim results, in terms of just everything that I've watched up until now, you know, Foot basically don't lose a scrim. I think the only scrims they've been losing are to Humble, which is just crazy. So yeah, I think they are still ahead of the opposition so far, and I think that's just going to continue. So yeah, in the grand finals, I'm going to go with Humble. Last time I actually purposely went for an anti-jinx, but this time around I'm going to go with Humble. And if I jinx them, I'm sorry. So yeah, that's my predictions for EMEA. Again, you can lock those in after the East Asia monthly finals are over. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Again, make sure you go over to this website, because there's a lot of free rewards that you can get, and you need to lock in, because a lot of these will actually, I don't think they're guaranteed to be exclusive, but they're exclusive for now. But a lot of these rewards haven't like came back into the game just yet, and it could literally be like years before they come back into the game. Anyways, that's going to be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.